Scraper Settings. Welcome to Stalkit Tutorials. In this video and the next video, I'm going to teach you how to create your first scraper. In this video, we will go over all the general settings, and in the next one, we will go over setting the scraper itself. Let's click on Add New Screen and go straight to the first screen. In this screen, you will see some general settings of the scraper. In the Project field, you can select in which project to save this scraper. The default value will be the project where you created it at, but you can change it and save it in another project, or use these settings later to move scrapers between the projects. In the Next field, we will enter some display name that will help us recognize this scraper. The same name will be shown in the Scrapers tab under the Name column. In the Scan Interval field, you can choose when your scraper will run. The default value is to run it only one time, manually by clicking on the toggle in the scrapers list. You can change this value and set up the scraper to run every few minutes, every few hours, at specific hours every day, and many more options. The scraper will run according to the schedule you set up, as long as the toggle is active in the scrapers list. The next setting will be on how many servers you want to run the scraper. If you choose to run it on more than one server, Stalkit will automatically split the job between the number of servers you select, and that will help seeding up your scraper and avoid getting detected and blocked. Not all scrapers can effectively be set up to run on multiple servers. We will go deeper on when it's possible in video number 5. The next one will control on what method to use to run the scrapers. The most common method used is a tool called Selenium, which is programmed to make the scraper do the same actions a real user would do. For example, if you need to open a URL and wait till your data is loaded, perform actions like clicks or fill out some forms. The other two options, HTTP GET POST, request with or without IP rotation, are used mostly for scraping APIs or some very simple web pages. Using the IP rotation will allow you to choose specific location to run the scraper from, but will also increase a bit the credits cost of each page you scrape. We will explain better on when to use each method in the Use Cases video. The last setting in this section is if you want to save screenshots of each page that is scraped or not. In the previous video, we went over the log screen and showed you the option to click on each log line and watch an image of the page that is currently scraped. This option will be available only if you choose here to save screenshots. It will increase the credits cost per page, so it's best to turn it on only to debug errors or test the scraper. You can change this setting even when the scraper is running, and it will take effect immediately when you save the settings. Let's move on to the next screen by clicking on the Next button. In this screen, we have options to set up some actions to be performed by the scraper before it's starting to run or after it's finished. The first option is to run another scraper after this one is done. This allows us to create a chain of scrapers that run one after each other and use data collected in previous scrapers. This is a great method when running scrapers on big sources with thousands of results, and we will show you how to do it in video number 5. The next option is to clean data before start. When setting a scraper to run on schedule, we have an option to remove the old entries and start a fresh scraper, or you can choose to keep all history and just add the new data in order to analyze data changes. The next one is one of my favorite options. Restart tracker until it's completed. Even when using IP rotation or other methods to avoid getting blocked, some sites will occasionally fail to load pages. This option allows you to tell the scraper to run a full cycle on all of the pages you want to scrape, mark the ones that are completed successfully, and then run another cycle only on these pages that failed to load. It will repeat this process until completing all the pages. Remove duplicates will simply remove duplicate entries after the scraper is done. It's very useful in case you want to get email alerts only on new data. You can also remove duplicates manually in the text modification screen and choose by what columns to check for duplicates. The last one on this screen is an option to apply text modifications after the scraper is completed. This is used when you create chain scrapers and want the next scraper to use the data collected from previous scrapers, but need to do some modifications to this data before it's used. The use cases videos will show you examples of when to use any of these options. Clicking on Open Scraper Builder button will open the scraper creating screen, which we will cover in the next video. Let's click on the Next button to move to the next screen. However, this screen will be open for editing only after the scraper process is created. In this screen, we can set up filters to filter the data we are collecting. You can see in the Valid For column 2 options. If you want the filters to run while scraping the data, choose Data Collecting option. If you want the filters to run only when you export data, then choose the Export option. You can add filters on any of the columns you specified in the scraper creating screen. If you choose any other option rather than the Not Empty option, you will need to enter also a value in the param column. If you want to remove a filter, just leave the name column empty. The last screen in the scraper settings is the email settings. You can add multiple emails in either the To field or the CC field. Then you have an option to select how often you want to send the emails. The frequency of sending the emails can be different than the frequency the scraper is running. So for example, you can set up the scraper to run every 1 hour, but only get email updates every 24 hours. Leave this field empty if you want to receive emails simply every time the scraper is completed. In case you create a chain of scrapers that run one after another, it's important to set up the email settings only in the final scraper. You can choose to receive the email updates in 2 formats, CSV and XLSX. The files you receive can contain one or more of the following options: full data and new data. If you choose the XLSX option, you can choose more than one option and will receive each data segment in a different sheet inside the file. Full data will send you all the data collected since day 1. If you choose in the previous screen not to clean the data before each run, you will get all the historic data collected as well. The new data option will send you all the new data collected since the last email was sent. So, for example, if you choose to receive emails every 24 hours, you will only get the new data inserted in the last 24 hours. Using this option together with the option in the previous screen to remove duplicates automatically will allow you to receive email alerts on new unique data that was added. That's it for this video. In video number 3, we will cover the scraper creating screen and show you all of the actions you can create in your scraper.